Hi, Tamily. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to interview 188 with Amanda. Her handle is Amanda underscore Tam. So if you don't follow her, you should look her up and go ahead and give her a follow. And as soon as she gets on, we will get her invited into the chat and get started. And there she is. One second, and we will get Amanda on.
Hello.
Again, it's been so long.
I know.
So great to see you, Amanda. We're really excited to talk to you today. I know it's been a little bit of a waiting game. You were sick and you got over that, so I'm so glad that you're
Yes.
here. You look
Thank
fantastic. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, well, so do you.
Oh, thanks. Clean up, I guess, a little bit when we're not.
I know,
right?
No, this was perfect because I have a bridal shower to go to right after this. So I'm like, okay, this is an excuse to get up and get ready.
Yeah, exactly. We could all use one of those.
Yeah.
So, well, before we kind of dive into the questions, I would love if you would just do a quick introduction of yourself. And also let us know if you prefer to be called Amanda or Amanda, because I realize I've just been calling you Amanda the whole time. But let us know where you're from and anything else you want us to know before we should get started.
Yes, no, Amanda is fine. I don't think anybody actually calls me Amanda. So,
Okay.
But I'm from California, born and raised here. I live in Southern California, so Orange, which is a part of Orange County. But I have lived in a couple different places. So I lived in Boston for 2 years, and then my husband and I, before we got married, we lived in Seattle for a year. So got to kind of experience a couple different places. But I'm a stay-at-home mom now. I used to be in recruiting prior to that, prior to having my daughter. So, and yeah, so it's basically just mom life now, which has been a huge adjustment. But
I can imagine.
yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of blanking. What else about me? I sometimes that question's a little tough.
Yeah, don't worry. We have so many questions to kind of talk.
Okay.
We will keep it going. But that's good to know. So you've lived kind of both coasts, Boston for a while, and then up in the Pacific Northwest, and now you're in nice
Yes.
Orange, California. So
Yeah.
great. Well, one of the things I thought would be fun to get started, we got a little bit of a teaser about this in your announcement, but I've never met anyone who heard about the method from their hairdresser. So
Yes.
a bit about
So it's
here.
yeah. So my hairdresser, I've actually known her since I was, I think, in high school. And she used to do my mom's hair, and she still does hair for my like family members. So her and I have like, we kind of like I had started, over the years moving everything. So I started going to her again, and she's always been one of those people that's like in fantastic shape and always taking care of herself. So, I mean, she's gorgeous. So it's like no surprise, that she looks great. But she started posting all of these, now what I know as being part of the Tamily, all of these Tracy Anderson method videos of her doing this crazy workout. And I had just kind of started my quote unquote health journey going through my postpartum and yada yada. So I went to her and I was like, okay, you have to tell me more about this Tracy Anderson method. Like, oh, because she had posted, so again, she's always been in great shape, but she had posted this picture. I think she had only been doing it like 6 months, and she posted like a before and after, and I was like, how did she get even better looking, and so I was asking her about it, and she's like, it's amazing. And she was already doing advanced at that point. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to fall off that damn chair. You know, like I could never do this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you just have to try it. It's, you know, it's so amazing. So anyways, she told me, actually, she was like, just start following the hashtag Tracy Anderson method on Instagram. And she's like, you're gonna see like everybody, like all different types of people doing it, and you know, like you're gonna see like the results for everybody, you know, yada yada. So I started following that, and I'm actually usually a very impulsive person. So I didn't jump into it right away, which is kind of surprising. I followed this hashtag for months. And I think the next time I went to her, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to pull the trigger, but I'm very like type A and have to do things a certain way. So I'm like, it was my birthday, which is in February. And I just remember, I'm like, I'm going to sign up and start on March 1st. So
Okay.
or it was March 5th. I wanted to start at the beginning of a month. So I did it, and, you know, I started with beginner, and I was like, texting her like, what the heck is this opening arms ceremony? Like, I A, can't keep up, and B, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I feel like a fool. She's like, just keep doing it, I swear, you know, like you'll get used to it. And I mean, I don't know about for other people, but it didn't take long for me. I was pretty hooked after, I want to say, even a week. So
that's great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she introduced me. So, I'm so glad she did. She talks about it to everybody too. So,
Would we know her? Is she somebody that's in the Tamily and still posting?
so she posts, but I think a couple people, like I know specifically Michelle, Michelle D. Tam. I always call her Sunshine Michelle. She, I know she follows her because I think we talked about it. Patricia and I, that's her name. We would tag each other back and forth, like in our stories sometimes to kind of like motivate each other. But she kept her regular Instagram and still posts, like, she didn't make like a Tam account for her posts. So it's, Patricia Musselman. I can post it after. She's gonna be like, who are all these people following me now? But
I feel like I've seen that name in here. So
right, yeah. So she, I always called her my Tracy Sensei in the beginning because I would be texting her and asking her all these questions, and so yeah. But yes, anybody can follow her. She does still post. She uses her regular Instagram account too. So it's a little bit of both. Oh, she's on. I just saw her. I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. That's great. Yeah. Well, I love a story like that because, you know, we ask interviewees often if they've ever recruited somebody to the Tamily or something like that. It's really hard to do, kind of like you described.
Yeah.
You explain it. People might kind of tentatively watch for a bit or think it's a little bit weird. But it's interesting, kind of, once you take the plunge, usually, you know, out and it clicks and it's something that you can just kind of fall in love with. So that's a really cool story.
For sure. And she has a great story too, like if you guys ever interview her. But that's what I love about it too, is that everybody has such a different story of how they like got into it. And so yeah, it's really cool.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we have a question in the chat actually from Nicole. It's a little bit of a detour from the Tam Talk, but I think it's actually a great kind of segue. So I saw that Melly Mel posted like earlier, right when she hopped on, that you're an amazing cook, and then Nicole said as well, since you love to cook, do you have any like great recipes or anything that you really love to make for your friends and family that you would want to share with the Tamily?
Oh, well, that's my mom saying that. So that's
how sweet.
So I don't know if everybody would feel that way, but no, I do love to cook. I don't know why, it's the weirdest thing, but when I'm pregnant, I hate baking and hate cooking. I know why that happens, but it's happened both pregnancies, but probably because I can't drink wine while I'm doing it, but
Yeah.
but no, I do normally love to cook. I, for whatever reason, because I don't think have an ounce of Italian in me, but I love to cook a lot of different Italian recipes. It's more like hearty food. I don't know if I would be the best. Like I mean, I can cook healthy, but I don't know if my good recipes would be the healthiest. They might be a good weekend splurge, but I have a butternut squash and sausage soup that I make usually in the fall every year. And then I do like a mushroom truffle risotto with lamb chops, Moroccan lamb chops that I really love. I am really bad about writing down my recipes, but I'm sure I can figure them out, pull them together and share them. But I would say those are probably my two favorite, or two that are the biggest hit when I serve those. So,
well, they sound really good. And I think eating, balance is always a good thing. So hearty give us more energy too. So you can do some more dance cardio if you want, or whatever you're going to do, if you're going to do a bonus. So
exactly.
Awesome. Well, so when your hairdresser told you about TAM, how long ago was that? So how long have you been doing the method?
So it was in March of 2021. So I've been doing it a little over a year now.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, she told me about it before, but I started in March 2021.
And what kind of results have you seen since starting it? And obviously you've had some changes because you're expecting a baby, right? You're a little bit of that, your journey.
Yeah. So I think that was one of the biggest things I mean, I feel like anybody that you talk to, right? I mean, you're not going to not look at everybody that does this, or Tracy Anderson herself, and be like, okay, yeah, I'm, doing it for the mental part of it, like to get into it. I mean, I think what draws everybody in, I hear most often, are the abs, right? But I mean, everybody looks really great that, does it. And, so I think that's the initial draw. I know my, Patricia, my friend hairdresser, she, I mean, her results were amazing. So that kind of drew me in, and I had been doing really just cardio. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get in a very long-winded answer here, but I had been going through postpartum during the initial, peak and wave of this pandemic. And so, I had just I hit postpartum depression pretty hard. And so I knew I needed to make a change. So I had really just started on like cardio. So I was doing the Peloton bike, and that's it. And I lost quite a bit of weight from it. But kind of like with everything that I've done over the years of the yo-yo working out is, I'd start it and I'd get really into it. And then you kind of hit this plateau where you just kind of like, it's a little bit harder to keep into it. And so that's another reason why I started this method. And my results were really quick, but I don't know if that's because I had also like gotten off a lot of the weight that I had, gotten from being pregnant before, from like all the cardio I had been doing and eating better. But I mean, like for instance, the arms, I've lifted weights in the past and stuff. And I mean, my arms, I noticed stuff right away. And then of course, the abs, and it was weird to me how fast it happened. Like, I was like, how is this happening so quickly? Like everything else, even like weight training in the past, they say it's like, you're going to take like probably 6 months before you really start noticing it on yourself. So that was crazy. So of course the physical was, a large part, of the initial things that I saw. But then being somebody that has always really dealt with anxiety my whole life, and then now lumping into it, this navigating being a new mom and postpartum,
Yeah.
the other thing I started to see is that the mental part really became like a huge component to just my overall healing journey with that. So, which I wasn't getting just from the cardio. Like the cardio, you get that. I've always been a runner, so the Peloton bike kind of offered me that high that you get after the cardio, and that feels great, but that doesn't really sustain you if there's other stuff kind of going on. And it's just weird how much this method like really has that, for me anyways, that component that really helps with that, the anxiety and the mental piece. So yeah.
Do you feel like it helps you kind of throughout the day and, kind of level set you a little bit more? Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, or even if I can't do it till the end of the night, like I'll notice that even it's just weird, like with the cardio, like I would get this like release and you feel better initially, but it's like those things that are in your head or whatnot can come back up throughout the day and kind of get you like your nervous system or whatnot like kind of going again. And with this, like I noticed, like I really like to work out in the morning, and that does, like if I can get that workout in the morning, it really sets me for the day. Like anything that the bumps and roads, like it really, I can just handle anything a lot better. But if I can't do it till the evening, I notice that I wake up the next morning feeling a lot more centered, and just my body feels better and just everything. So it just all really ties into like, yeah, I guess just keeping me more leveled throughout the day. Or just being able to compartmentalize the things that come up. There's something, and I think I've been actually able to connect to it even more so now through my pregnancy journey, or maybe just because I've been doing it longer. But I'm just noticing that I think just even the weeks where, things are really tough, or maybe even a little bit more monotonous through the moves or whatnot, if you keep going through it, it's like almost like disciplining your brain in a way. So that I don't know, I've just been able, I don't even feel, knock on wood, anxiety, a lot more anxiety the way I did with my first pregnancy going through this one. So it's helped tremendously in that department. So
That's great.
yeah.
How has your routine kind of evolved since starting and then obviously getting pregnant again? I'm sure that that's like a total toll on your body, just being tired at different stages of the pregnancy and things like that. And are you 35 weeks, 36 weeks now?
I'm actually going to be 37 weeks this week. So yeah.
Wow.
We're at the end. I'm so
You're in the home
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right before I got pregnant, and actually even until like the first trimester stuff kind of hit me, I had gotten in a really good routine. My husband gets up at like 4:30 in the morning for work every day, so I was like getting up with him and then getting my workout done first thing in the morning, which I loved because it's like before all the noises can like start filling your head for the day, you're just like completely, wiped out, I guess. And so I felt like I was really getting a lot from doing it first thing in the morning, early like that. And I loved it. And then, the first trimester stuff started really hitting me hard, and I was getting so discouraged because of course, I follow a lot of other, women who have gone through pregnancy with the Tracy Anderson method. And so I think it was Melissa Lloyd that I messaged before I was even really telling anybody. And she is just so committed. I mean, I would watch her through her pregnancy and I'm like, how is this woman sick and she has kids and she's still doing this workout today? Like, what the heck is this woman like a superhero? So, anyways, um, I messaged her and I was like, Melissa, please tell me that you had a couple weeks where you like could not work out because I'm getting so discouraged. And she's like, no, I totally did. And you'll get back to it. So it was really encouraging and really like, she made me feel so much better. So it was so nice to have somebody that like went through it and was like, you're going to come out of it. So I would just do it on the days that I could. I think I was like probably only 2 or 3 times a week at that time. But it was important to me that I just really kept like that I was still doing it those 2 to 3 times a week because it was just really important to me that I moved through this pregnancy and I really didn't want to let this piece of me or, go. So, it would be whenever I could get it done. I think during that time it was probably a lot when, my daughter was up, probably wasn't the, best workout in the world, but at least I was able to, get them done. And I would feel a lot better, even through the first trimester, getting it done that way. And then once I started feeling better again, I still couldn't really get back to those early mornings. So I'm excited to hopefully get back to those because that was my favorite. So now I'm usually doing them at my daughter's nap time, or if I miss it, then in the evenings, which are really tough to get to the mat in the evenings. But yeah, so that's kind of my routine now. Whenever I can get it done, I post the videos just for accountability. Okay, I did get it done for myself this day with my daughter, but I actually really don't enjoy working out with her. As cute as she is and as much as I cherish the videos, I really hate it. She's just, she's a bundle of energy, and I don't get that meditative piece, when I'm having to stop and tell her no during the workout. So I try to avoid those and get it done at nap time, but sometimes, the day is what it is, so I have to do it with her. So yeah.
Well, your mom says that you're setting such a great example for your daughter, which I think is so sweet to hear, and that she tries to copy you. I think I've seen some of that. She's tried to do some little moves.
Yeah. She tries, but mostly it's like, okay, trying to ride me or
right,
like
just trying
so.
to mostly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do like that part too, that she does get to see, okay, mom's working out, and I think that's better than telling your child something, showing them that you're doing it and setting that example. I do love that. It's just selfishly, I don't enjoy the working out part with her. So
totally understandable. And you know what? You're allowed to be selfish.
Yeah.
Also, your mom had also asked earlier, like thinking back to how you felt giving birth from your daughter, from your first pregnancy to now, what kind of changes do you feel now through your pregnancy journey, going or coming towards that time again?
My mom's so involved with the questions today. I love it. So yeah, there was a huge difference with that. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that, contributed to very different pregnancies, but with my first pregnancy, especially at the end, I mean, I didn't work out at all during that pregnancy, and I ended up having to go on maternity leave pretty early because Avery was a huge baby. And so she was sitting on my sciatica nerve, and I literally got to a point where I couldn't even walk because I had such bad back pain at the end, and just the stress of everything and made it worse. So So I was out pretty early. And then the lovely pandemic hit. We had, at that time, no idea what this was. I literally, so the pandemic hit like when everything shut down in March of 2020, and I gave birth to her in April. So I literally gave birth to her during what I say the first wave of the peak, or the first peak, because we've had so many peaks. So it was like a really stressful and scary time. And again, I wasn't working out at all. And then I had a pretty tough delivery. I had to be induced, and it just, you know, altogether, the experience is not something that I look back on and I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that again. Which I know is not going to be popular. I mean, most women are like, I love being pregnant, or I love my birth experience. And I was like, yeah, I hated it. I really didn't enjoy it. So this pregnancy, although it's been tough still in different ways, I have a toddler I have to chase around all day, and you know, just a lot of different things that are different stresses. But doing this throughout my pregnancy and maintaining this has really just been the greatest gift in terms of, you know, I think, again, starting out, I wanted to be like, okay, I want to be, you know, fit this pregnancy, and I want to look great still and not gain a bunch of weight. And, I still gained weight. I still might not look exactly how I wanted to look, but what I've noticed is that physically I have a lot more energy. My back pain is like, still, I'm going to be 37 weeks next week, and I have no back pain. I'm not feeling crazy pressure or anything. Like, I mean, I'm still running around and doing everything. And so I know that is because of what I've been doing with the method. I mean, there's nothing else that I can think of that I'm doing differently that could have contributed to it. So I'm just really, really appreciative and thankful that, as hard as it was some weeks to keep doing this, and my husband even, like, last week, or I think it was the weekend I got COVID, I worked out that morning, and my back started hurting, which I had no idea that, I guess that can be the first sign for some people that you have COVID, is your back starts hurting, which I hadn't heard that one. So he thought it was because I worked out and threw something, and he's like, you really need to just start slowing down now. And I'm like, no, I'm not slowing down. This is the only thing that is keeping me like leveled and sane at this point. And there's so many other things. And then it turns out I had COVID. So I was like, see, I'm not slowing down. So, but
yeah, I could even tam through COVID. So
yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, it literally, I feel like it's like just such a crazy energy booster. Like, it just gives you, I don't know. So anyways, I can just keep going on and on.
No, but I think that's great. It's good to hear, your experience. You're only the second, what I like to affectionately call, like, openly pregnant person that we've interviewed, because I'm like, I don't know, people could be pregnant and we don't know yet, right? But,
right.
I think it's helpful for everybody to hear the truth about the experience and changes. I can only imagine being pregnant and then giving birth and becoming a mom for the first time, like in the middle of the pandemic, when you can't have anyone around you, and I'm sure it was hard. So I hope this time around it's, feels better for you. It sounds like you physically better, which is great. So, okay, so I've got a great question in here from Lindsay, and I had this on my personal list as well, because I was thinking to talk about. So she says that sometimes we've seen your TAM husband, your actual husband, being playful in your videos, and sometimes I affectionately refer to that as a TAM troll.
And I love that.
Come in and like mock you, but it's always from a loving kind of place, I think.
Yes.
So he ever joined you for a full workout, and what does he think about the Tamily and you being engaged in the community?
So I just got like really lucky with him. He's like one of those like just and okay, like if I get a little teary-eyed, it's just because of the pregnancy hormones, but he is just amazing. I got really lucky. He's so supportive, like my biggest cheerleader in everything I do. But when it came to, the family and stuff like that, I mean, he cracks me up. Like yesterday, he came in during my workout and he just like, he always, he's always just like, yeah, babe, do it. Like, get into it, like he's always just like cheering me on. And, it loses my concentration. So I usually yell at him and I'm like, get out of here. But he has not joined me to answer the question directly. He has not joined me for a workout. I've thought about, I'm like, okay, I haven't really done any of the dance stuff and I have no rhythm. But he used to be a dancer and he's Cuban, so he's got that working for him as far as rhythm goes. And so I'm like, I'm totally gonna get him when I'm not pregnant to try and do one of these dances if I can convince him. Because I bet he'd be really good at them. But he hasn't tried it. He was in like he was a bodybuilder before, and then he was a personal trainer for a long time. So health and fitness has been like really big on his background. And so he's tried to help me over the years, but I think, with advice and stuff like that. But I think what he is like so supportive of on this is that he has seen the changes in me as far as not just physically, but like mentally and emotionally and whatnot. And so he's so supportive of it. And he's just, I can't say it enough. Like he's very he loves that I do it. He thinks it's great. He thinks that, like, I told him I was doing this today, and he's like, that's so awesome. I'm so happy. And like, he's like, I'm going to take Avery and we're going to go on a dad and daughter date. So we're out of your hair. And like, he's very supportive of it. So he definitely approves and thinks it's great. So.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah. And good job to your husband. I don't know his name, but we'll say.
Yeah. Robert.
Robert. Good job. So Lindsay said, yes, she would love to see some choreographed couples dance. Maybe you could get him to do a ski dance or something, because those are like pretty funky and cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Or you could put him in one of the men's workout classes with Courtney, and she could like personal train, like give him the side eye type thing. Maybe he'll do it since he's got that like fitness background. He might.
I know. Well, I have wanted him to try it because like it is so different than any other workout. So it's like, even if you're, in shape or you work out or whatnot, it's like when you start doing this, you're like, oh my God, this is like completely different. So I've wanted to see like what it would be like for him to go through it. So yeah, maybe I can convince him to do one of the men's workouts, and then I'll have to secretly film him because he gets so mad at me. He knows I'm always recording, but then when I tell him like, yeah, I posted, your little like interruption, he's like, Amanda, why did you do that? Because he doesn't have social media or anything. So
okay.
But they just crack me up when he does it. So I have to post my tam troll too.
Exactly. It's good. It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
So in your experience so far with the Tamily, being a little bit over a year into the method and probably following the Tamily a little bit longer, just to kind of get a feel for what are people even doing. Sometimes it's good to do that before you start. Have you had like a great piece of advice or a great takeaway either from the Tamily or maybe a previous interview that you've seen that you would like to share? Anything that's helped you personally?
I feel like I'm gonna have so many things that I am going to just blank on right now, because I feel like so many of the women are just very inspirational and very just, I pick up so many pieces from so many people on a daily basis. And so I think that's another thing that, like, when I was doing my initial chat with Kristen, I think I even discussed this with her, is that there's so many different components of the method that, like, really keep you coming back or keep you, like, very invested. And I think that you can't, like, say without, you know, the Tamily, that that's not, like, a huge component of it. But you know, I think that that's a reason why, like, you know, I do continue to post, and I do continue, because you never know at the end of the day, like, who you're motivating, right? And so even if I don't necessarily, like, I try to do my best to like everybody's stuff and make sure I put an encouraging comment, because I know how much those help, and I know how much, you know, it really does, like, it's nice to know sometimes that, you know, like, you're helping somebody. So but I don't get to everybody. But you know, there's been things that I definitely pick up on. You know, Renee, and I'm gonna forget her handle. I only remember people by their handles, but Renee, she always posts with her daughter too. I think it's Renee Mum or Mun or something. She has posted a lot that, like, resonate with me about, like, you know, your inner mean girl and stuff like that. Well, one of the things that she said on one of her posts that always stuck with me is, you're only competing with your, you know, yourself. And so I love that. Kristen and I talked about something kind of similar to, like, Kristen said something great just in our chat, like, something about, like, intermediate and advanced, and we were talking about, like, the going back and forth between the two, and she was like, but, you know, there's nothing I need to prove to anybody, or she said something along the lines of that. And that's another thing that has really stuck with me, because I think that you can, like, kind of, like, lose sight of, you know, why you're doing something or whatnot. And so when Renee posted that, I just loved that, because it's like, you can, well, I don't want to blanket it and say everybody does this, but for me, I'm very hard on myself, and sometimes, you know, you can, like, I can be like, well, you know, I'm not looking like that yet, or, you know, I've gone through my pregnancy and I've done this every day, and I don't look like how that person looked like, you know, and you can almost get caught up in your head, and then you really take away from the beauty of what you have done and what you are doing. And the line of just, like, you're only competing with yourself is, you know, I feel like that is, like, as long as you're doing better than the day before, or if you can look at your life or where you're at and be like, am I better than I was a year ago, and am I in a different place than a year ago? Yes. Then, you know, that's a really beautiful thing. And that's what your, you know, measurement of success should be, is not focusing on where you are in compared to other people, but with yourself and your own journey. And so you know, like I said, I'm gonna forget a ton of other things that have definitely impacted me, but that is definitely one thing. And she probably has no idea that impacted me so much, right? But I think that's what's so beautiful about this community, is that you can have no idea how you're impacting somebody that day, and you might not ever know how you've impacted somebody that day, but it's important that you still share, and you know, you give this piece of yourself to everybody, because, you know, you could really be helping somebody or impacting somebody for that day. So yeah, I just love the Tamily. I love that aspect of it. So
Well, I think that's great. It's a great thing to share. And Renee is on, so she's listening. And so
okay.
today too. Sometimes she probably could benefit from hearing stuff that she shared in the past too. So it's amazing how things can kind of go full circle, right?
Yes.
Which I think is really awesome. So I have a question for you. Since you're
Mm-hmm.
relatively new, what advice would you have to somebody else that's just starting the method about how to get involved, and tips for success maybe that you have that you've picked up along the way?
Um, I think it would just be like, I think the biggest thing would be really going at kind of like this kind of ties into what we were just talking about. But really just going at your own pace and, not overthinking it so much. I think that, like, for me, like the dance cardio, for instance, has been something that has been so hard for me to get into and jump into. And if I really look at like the nitty gritty of why that is, it's because I'm not good at it. And um, it's uncomfortable for me. And, you know, just all these different things, right? And so I think that somebody starting out doing the method, um, if they're doing it and they don't feel like it's clicking right away, or they just feel kind of silly, or whatever emotions come up that, are attached to doing it, I would just say to them, just keep doing it and just keep giving it a try, because I think that, and the other thing would be kind of what Tracy has said in a lot of her after class talks about asking yourself like why this is coming up instead of just rejecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I feeling this way? That's been like a really big help for me. um Instead of just being like, that makes me uncomfortable, I don't want to do it. Because I think that that's like, once you get past that initial thing, that's the really beautiful part of this method, is that a lot of it is uncomfortable. But it's working through those pieces that I think really build your confidence and build your self-esteem and all those beautiful things that come along with it. So I think that would be my advice, is just to just keep doing it and just paying attention to how you feel. And if those uncomfortable things come up, it's okay. They're normal. That you're gonna move on into something else uncomfortable later on that you'll tackle. But just to keep doing it, because you'll see the beauty of it, once you get past kind of those initial parts. So
I think that's great advice. Just keep going. It's all a balance of learning how to get over yourself, how to
mm-hmm.
details without getting too in your head and feeling defeated. So it's
Right.
a kind of give and take so that you don't become too obsessed like with perfection and feel like if you can't do it perfect, then I shouldn't do it at all. So it's probably just a constant kind of ebb and flow of checking in with yourself, reminding yourself of why you're doing it, even balancing interaction and social media. You want to be
Yeah.
supportive. You don't want to spend all of your time on social media. So trying to figure out what is that right fit for you and for your life and your family and all of your own goals too. So
No, that's a great point too, right? Because it's like we all want to be so supportive, but to your point, you can get like almost too caught up, and being
yeah.
too much of anything is never good, right? So even if you're doing something for positive reasons, you're spending all day on Instagram like trying to keep up with, like, to your point, that's not good either. So it is. And that's what I think is another great point of like, it's always a teaching of balance within this, is that, and it's just a really great way to really connect, like get back to self-awareness, and check in with yourself. So
Yeah,
yeah.
never forget that you're still the leader of your own life.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you want to make sure that you're comfortable taking your own reins and making your own decisions, and
Definitely.
that too will kind of ebb and flow about what you need. There's I've been doing the method. I'm into my 5th year now.
Which
But
is amazing. Congratulations.
thanks. I mean, there's people that have been doing it upwards of 15 years, right? And sometimes Instagram can be more helpful, or recording your videos can be more helpful, and other times it's less helpful. You might have less
Mm-hmm.
time available or whatever. So as long as you keep checking in with yourself and figuring out like where is your compass pointing you, and making those adjustments, I think that's the best way to try to always strive for whatever your balance is going to look like.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point too. I actually, my advice for new people is because, okay, for instance, my sister, I did get her to sign up, and she's taking a little break right now, but she's going to be coming back, just simply
Mm-hmm.
Gracie. And she never posted because that's just not her thing. But she was really into it, but she wasn't posting, and I was like, well, that's great. And I remember, and what I think is so great about the good thing about the Tamily though is like we all kind of check up on each other, and the other person that I just adore is Sam, and I talk to her a lot, or not always a lot, but we keep in touch. And I remember I went through like a week or two where I wasn't posting, and she just checked in on me, and she's like, hey, I just want to see how you're doing. And I'm like, I'm still working out. I just needed to take a little social media break. And that happened to be a week where it wasn't being helpful for me because I was looking at videos and my body was changing from my pregnancy, and I wasn't where, to my standards physically, I wanted to look like. And it was just messing with my head. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break, and I'm not going to post, and I'm going to just do the workout still, but I'm just going to keep this just for me. And, and we had a conversation about that. And she's like, yeah, like, I don't know if we even got that detailed about it, but she just essentially said like, yeah, take a break or whatnot. And so I think that that's another thing about it is if, it's not helping you to post your workouts or whatnot every day, you don't have to do that to be doing the method. If you need to take a break from social media sometimes, this is supposed to be something that is useful to you, helpful, positive. If it's not serving that purpose, then take a break. It doesn't mean you have to take a break from moving forward with the method, so.
I completely agree. And Sam is on, and she said, you're an amazing friend. You've done the same thing for her. Chrissy's on, takes breaks for the same reason. So I love to hear that because the nice thing about the Tamily, I've maybe described it this way before, but it's kind of like a continuous game of double Dutch jump rope. And you can jump in and you can jump out. And, as long as you know what you need and you're taking care of yourself, it will be there for you. So there's pressure to be on all day or like every single thing that you see. You've got to figure out your own personal mix of the right balance or the right ingredients if we're talking recipes. So that's so I have a couple other questions, just kind of I guess like Tam gear questions, right? So maybe we'll take a little bit of a right turn detour. But do you have like any favorite equipment, anything that you can't live without for your workout? Like what's the one thing that you're like, okay, I can't go into my workout with this?
So the biggest game changer for me, like, which I had no idea how much it was I was just going to love it, is as one of my Christmas presents, I got one of those square 36 mats. And I love that thing. I mean, I was just working out on a yoga mat before, and I have to switch up where I work out depending on, who's sleeping in what room. And so, I mean, it was just, I made do with what I had. And then now that I have this mat, I'm like, I don't even know how I ever worked out without it. It's so much, I mean, it just can turn any room into your workout room. So I love that mat. and I would say that's like the biggest thing. Oh, still out. That would be the thing is, as far as piece of equipment, I don't have any like fancy ankle weights. I haven't even been using ankle weights for probably the past 6 months. So,
yeah.
So, but I do need to get some new ones when I start using them again. But yeah, I would say that mat, and then, music. That's my other thing, which we bonded over.
You have great taste in music. So that
And
probably,
so do you.
I don't think you listen to the music on the recorded videos. Do you always listen to your own music for your workout?
No, so I feel like sometimes it'll just be one, but if it's like the first couple classes, because I like the dings, so I'll listen to like I'll actually do the workout like with her music. And then once I feel like I kind of have the flow of the class down, then I'll usually mute that and put on whatever music I'm feeling for that day. So
yeah,
amazing
what music can do, because if you need a gentler workout and need to go lower, you can make that happen with your music. If you want to feel a bit more endurance, like boost or pump it up, you can make that happen with music. So
yeah,
the ability that gives you.
Yes, definitely. And that was the other thing is like one of my mom, because I talk about it with everybody, and I'm like, Mom, like, you should just try it. It's a 2-week free trial. Like, just try it,
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't like the music that she plays. And I'm like, well, and I'm like, you don't have to. And that's another thing is like, if you don't like the music, then you can just mute it and you can put on your own music. A lot of people do it. And that took me a while to figure out, like, which is funny because, it's something so simple, but when I first started, I only did the class like without my own music. I would, only do her, music or the whole class, whatever. So when I started incorporating my own music, that was another even like level of just enjoying it, So yeah.
Yeah, good for you. I started with like the DVDs, and the music on the DVDs was like, oh hell,
not good.
Mute immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you make a lot of playlists? Do you use Spotify, or what's your kind of primary music mix? Or do you have old school mixtapes that you still pop on, put them in the tape player?
No, so I use Spotify primarily a lot, and Spotify has that cool thing that it does where it starts creating like your playlist depending on what you've been listening to. No, I haven't made a playlist in so long, and then my husband ended up overtaking my old Spotify account, so I had to make a new one. So I lost all my old playlists. So actually, the playlist that you and I did together was really fun for me because it had been so long since I had made a playlist, and I love that playlist because you can listen to it while you're working out. But then, I mean, I listen to that in the car all the time. I love it. And there's so many good songs you added on there that I had never heard before.
It's a great one.
Yeah. So, primarily what I'll do is like, Spotify refreshes, your daily mixes, or your, like the hip hop mix is a good one, for me, that they refresh. So I'll just typically go through those, and, or if I'm feeling like wanting more meditative or whatnot, then I'll do a different type of genre. But, I typically just choose a random playlist that they've made for me and then go with that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I've never trust them enough, even though they are good at like finding music that I like. So I probably have a couple hundred different playlists on there. I'll have to send you some.
Yeah, you'll have to. Well, nice. And I follow you now on there, so I'll I'll have
Oh,
to
cool.
check out your playlist because I'm sure you have some good ones.
Yeah, we've got different ones, even older ones when we used to do like themed workouts. So we pick
Oh
like
yeah.
a theme if it's R&B or 80s pop or 90s or all hardcore hip hop or whatever the
Yeah.
variety. So,
Which, by the way, I haven't been seeing that anymore lately. I think that like that needs to be brought back maybe, like the themed workouts because when
yeah.
I first started and I wasn't like, and I was seeing everybody and they would even like dress up for like 80s or whatever and I'm like that's so cool. And I never see those anymore. So
I
those need to be brought back.
it got a lot more popular kind of during the pandemic, and now that
Yeah.
people have kind of gotten back to life, it's not as much about you're trapped at home. But yeah, maybe it would be great to kind of revive it on a quarterly basis or something.
Yeah.
Um, it is fun. They did one recently. I can't remember if it was a Madonna workout or something like that. But anyway, you could always make your own theme, and then people will be
Yeah.
like, "Keep posting with this wig while she's working out."
Yeah, I'll be like, everybody's doing it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda, it's been so great to get to know you. I know we're kind of coming up on a full
Yeah,
hour already. It's hard to believe that like so much time has passed. But
I
before we
know.
close, I would just ask, is there anything else that you want the Tamily to know about you or what's important to you? Or any advice, lasting advice that you have you want to give out to the Tamily, those watching?
No, I don't think there's necessarily any advice or anything I can, but I mean, I just want to say thank you to all of you, including you and including everybody. I mean, there's just too many people to name, but you guys constantly inspire me and just motivate me. And it's just been such a beautiful community to be a part of. So I just want to say thank you. And thank you for, asking me to be a part of this interview. I feel so honored to share. But yeah, I mean, each and every one of you, so many of you just inspire me each and every day and really keep me motivated and help me a lot. So just want all of you to know that.
Well, I know that the feeling is mutual. The Tamily have you. We'll be so excited to meet Bundle of Joy number 2 in just a
Yes.
few short weeks.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's obviously some new moms, recently new moms, they'll be there for you and support, including Melissa and probably Mary. And I know there's so many others I'm drawing a blank to, but
Yeah.
got your back on that. And I hope it's going to be super smooth this time around. It was
Yeah.
great to meet you, great to talk to you. And I hope the bridal shower is a success this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
And yeah, it was such a pleasure talking with you and getting to meet you also. So thank you.
Likewise. Well, we'll see you soon, Amanda. Have a great day.
Okay. You too. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.